Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. In this session, I want to talk about utilizing big data and machine learning for optimizing e-commerce, specifically on Amazon. Several slides to give you all a business perspective of what's going on with Amazon today. But first, e-commerce in general. E-commerce, as you probably know, is growing constantly in the US and in other regions. To date, it has captured about 10% of the market share of all US retail, and as you can see here, continues to grow, and predicted to reach 13.7% by 2021. You can see this also by the number of stores being shut down, physical stores being shut down every year in the US. Focus on Amazon, even more impressive. Amazon, not all of you, I'm sure, know this, but they are soon going to reach 50% market share of US e-commerce. That is, of course, unheard of, a phenomena that no other company has reached. So everybody wants to be on Amazon, brands, retailers, everyone wants to sell there, but with the potential, there's a lot of challenge and actually a lot of risk. In order to succeed, you need to have very good reputation, otherwise you're not going to be seen, let alone sold from. You have to be good, you have to have good visibility, right? The content needs to be very good, the pictures, the description, the title, in order to increase conversion. Discoverability, you want to make sure that you appear in search results, paid, organic, and in other pages on Amazon. Agility, very, very important in this very dynamic marketplace, Amazon. There are some products, just to give you perspective, that change prices hundreds and thousands times a day, and if you're not changing in that pace, you're just not going to be competitive and not going to be bought from. Data-driven, a lot of data generated by this marketplace, as well as other marketplaces like eBay, like others. If you know how to collect this data and what to do with it and have the proper sophistication, you can actually reach very interesting insights that can improve your business performance. A little bit about FeedVisor. FeedVisor provides SaaS services for sellers, retailers, and brands that sell online. We apply machine learning and big data technology and produce three main product lines. First one is brand optimization and intelligence. Second one is pricing optimization and intelligence, automatic price adjustments into Amazon and other marketplaces. And third one is advertising optimization and intelligence, specialty in Amazon adjustments of bids, keywords, and budgets within your Amazon campaigns. In this session, I want to focus on a specific case study on optimizing pricing on Amazon, which is actually a very interesting environment. I don't think there's another environment like this, at least today, in other commerce arenas. So first of all, one of the main notions in Amazon, you've probably seen it if you've gone to a product page, is the buy box. Buy box is the main area in the product page. When you reach a product page, you can see it here in the rectangle, and it actually contains the recommendation of Amazon from which seller you should buy this product at this given point. So for this product, I see there are selling it 23 sellers altogether, but at each point in time, there's only one, obviously, that will get this recommendation, and obviously everybody wants to be here, also due to the fact that above 80% of Amazon sales go through this buy box area, so it obviously generates a lot of traction. There are many attributes that affect the buy box. We don't know, of course, the exact formula of Amazon's buy box algorithm, but we do know that there's affection by many attributes. It can be the condition of the item you're selling, the availability, fulfillment channel, the shipping time, your feedback count and score, and other operational attributes, and of course price. Price is a major factor in Amazon's buy box algorithm. It's not the only factor, for sure, but it is a major factor. Here's a screenshot of a list of sellers selling this specific product. They are listed in the order of their price, from low to high. And the one in the rectangle is actually the buy box winner, at least at this point in time. And here you can see, of course, that you don't have to be the lowest in price to reach the buy box, but you do have to play on price in order to reach it. And of course, the interesting question is, what is the highest price you can place and still win the buy box, given your attributes and your competition attributes? Now, this buy box area, naturally, the place that everybody wants to be in, generates what we call the price wars on Amazon. Price wars, let's read Wikipedia's definition. A price war is commercial competition characterized by the repeated cutting of prices below those of competitors. In our context, it's for winning the buy box. Here's an example of a price war. We can see two sellers here selling the same product, each one represented by a different color, and you can see that over time, each one reduces their prices in order to win the buy box. And this is a classical price war. In this case, we're talking about a rather short time and low impact, not a lot of reduction of price, but definitely a price war. Now, the thing is that you need to play fast. For example, if one of the opponents here changes prices every minute and the other one every 10 minutes, it means that the first one will gain the buy box for 90% of the time because the other one is not reacting. So you need to react fast, and of course intelligently, in order to maintain high margins and high profit. We're going to talk about that later. Another example for a price war, this time a longer price war, 24 hours, with a much more impact, 30% reduction in price. And the interesting thing here is that in the beginning you could see small reduction amounts, and later on it becomes larger amounts, to state that things here are very, very dynamic, change all the time, and you all the time need to monitor this and analyze accordingly. Another example of a price war, this time we have three opponents. Two of them are acting pretty much alike. The third one is a little bit different. They also reduce the price, but in different increments. Perhaps this one works manually versus automatic operation of the two others. So when we talk about price wars and how to manage them correctly, we're talking about three main fundamentals. Learn your arena, know your competitors, and be a market maker. Be a market maker, initiate the actions rather than follow others in their actions. So let's give a few examples of this. First one belonging to the category of know your competitors. You can see here that two are repricing probably automatically. The other one is not changing prices at all. Probably these two are the effective competition as opposed to the other one. Here, similarly, we can see several sellers that are in the arena currently. Many of them don't change prices at all, and the prices are actually non-competitive whatsoever. And you can see two of them, the one in gray and red, which are changing prices all the time. These are the ones probably that are gaining the buy box in this case, and those that are making the sales. So when you come to an arena, you need to ask yourself, what is the effective competition level, and derive from that what is your realistic buy box share. You definitely usually can't hope for 100% buy box share, because in that case you'll lose all your margin, but you need to know what is the realistic buy box share you can target. Another important concept is understanding your competitive edge versus the competition. What we can see here is, again, two opponents. Both are winning the buy box. Each dot actually notes the buy box win by each one of them, each one in a different point in time. And you can see that they're both winning the buy box, but with a very substantial price difference, the black one being much higher, $8 in this case, than the red one. And if you're able to determine this, how high you can price and still win the buy box to some extent, you can obviously improve your margins, your profit, your business performance. How low can your competitors go? Each seller obviously has a floor price, which under they don't go, otherwise they're not profiting from this. And if you're able to determine that, what is their floor price, and price a little bit underneath if you can. If your floor price is under, then you can gain much more of the buy box and still maintain rather high profit margins. Another interesting phenomena in the price war domain is what we call reverse price wars. In many cases, and actually third of the cases, we saw that we are able to not only drive prices down, that's easy, but actually drive them up. And knowing this and understanding this, we placed a rather nice component in our algorithm that tries every once in a while to bring prices up. That way it's a win-win. Everybody wins, at least within the sellers, not the consumers. Everybody wins from higher margins, and it's definitely worth to try. A little bit on the data that is provided by Amazon as a marketplace, a very, very volume of data, of specific data here that we're talking about, product snapshots. A product snapshot occurs or is delivered and pushed to us as managing our customer's portfolio each time that a price was changed in the arena of one of our managed ASINs, managed products. It contains general product data like the product rating, quantity, and score, and about the buy box characteristics, who's currently in the buy box, and their attributes. In addition, and this is the main volume of data, for every offer for that product, it tells you what is their rating, quantity, and score, their shipping time and availability, their fulfillment channel, the pricing, and whether they are in or out of the buy box. We're going to talk about this later in context of machine learning. There's a lot of things you can do with this data. So, as we said before, Amazon is a very, very dynamic marketplace, and here you can see on the left side that 16% more or less of products change price at least once a day. I can tell you that these 16% of products are actually responsible for above 90% of the GMV, of the sales, going through Amazon. If we look at the right side, we can see for those 16% of products how many are changing price more than once, between 2 and 4, 5 and 10, and there's actually a slice there with above 500 price changes a day, and this increases over time, as we will see later on. In terms of FeedVisor, we get a lot of such product snapshots each day. This is actually one of the major components in our big data environment. In terms of numbers, we're managing about 30 million products sold on Amazon. The number of daily product snapshots that we get is 50 million. Within these, we have 500 million records. And when we're talking about individual data points, we're talking about 10 billion more or less data points that join the other data points from yesterday and the days before that. And when we come to optimize, in this case pricing, we look at all these data points in order to reach eventually the optimal price. So let's talk a little bit about FeedVisor repricing technology. Our approach, as opposed to other competitors of ours in the marketplace, is to try to maximize for profit for each product at each point in time. This is to demonstrate one of the aspects here. We talked about the buy box, and obviously the higher your price is, the lower buy box share you'll get. You can see that in this gray line, sorry, right? The thing is that the profit is usually maximized between these two edges. Usually it does not reside in each edge, right? Because if I'm pricing too low, I am getting a lot of buy box here, but with very low margins, if at all, so my profit is quite low. On the other hand, if I'm pricing too high and get occasionally, if at all, any buy box share, I'm not selling too many. Therefore, again, the profit is quite low. Our job and our challenge is to find this middle point here that maximizes the profit, and of course, it changes all the time. One of the challenges here is that we have multiple considerations. When we come to maximize profit, we need to understand our cost structure, the marketplace fees, the attributes and ratings of the product, our goals, and what are our constraints, the competing offers, their pricing, the marketplace ranking, orders and sales, which is obviously an important feedback for us, and many more points that we need to consider when optimizing for profit. So that is one of the challenges. The other challenge is that everything can change. And again, in hours, in minutes sometimes. The characteristics of ours or our competitors can change over time. For example, their shipping time or rating. Their constraints can change. For example, now they have a new batch of product and their floor price changes accordingly, according to their cost. Their goals and tactics can also change, and of course, Amazon's buy box can change from product to product, from time to time. We talked before about different characteristics that affect Amazon's buy box algorithm. This for sure changes from category to category. For example, consider a case in which you're buying a refrigerator on Amazon, and there are refrigerators for sale there. Obviously, in that use case, you want a seller with good rating. You want to buy from a credible seller rather than shipping time, right? Shipping time is less important, has less weight in that case. On the other hand, when you're talking about greeting cards, shipping time has much more value than the seller rating. You want to make sure that your wife got the greeting card on time. So our approach in here is to apply algorithmic repricing. Many other approaches do it more in the sense of business rules, where the users usually have to build these business rules. We went more to the approach of algorithmic repricing. And speaking of algorithmic repricing, we have 5 main modules, I would say, that take part here. The middle part, the profit optimizer, is the part that takes everything into consideration and eventually generates the optimal price. With it, we have the data collector. As I mentioned, it's a lot of data, and this is actually part of the challenge. Getting that data, storing it, analyzing it, it's not easy at all. I can tell you that much of our effort went to this component. We have a profit calculator. It may sound easy, but it's not that easy to understand, even me as a seller, what my actual profit is. Because there are a lot of components here. The cost of goods, the cost of shipping, the fulfillment fee that I need to pay, the marketplace fees, and other things. So if you get that right and only, then you really can optimize for profit. Buy box predictor. This is an interesting model that we actually developed using machine learning, different techniques. As input, this model receives an arena of a product, right? All the sellers, their prices, their characteristics, and it predicts who is going to be the buy box winner. Using this, I can actually understand what is the highest price I can place and still gain the buy box. This is a model that was trained on millions, 10 millions of labeled sets, and is a core component, obviously, in our technology. Competition predictor is a component that tries to learn your opponents, your competitors. For example, the floor prices that we talked about, how fast they move? Do they tend to only reduce prices or also increase prices, and so on and so forth? If you can predict their moves, obviously this gives you an edge as well. This also involves notions from game theory, trying to reach the Nash equilibrium. We talked about the win-win situation, trying to reach that situation so everybody benefits from improved performance. And eventually we have the price publisher. This is the component that pushes the prices to Amazon. One of the main limitations that we have today is that Amazon has a quota of price changes that you can make per minute. So part of this is to understand which price is more critical to change and which one is less critical. That's part of the equation here. A little bit of view of our algorithm in action. Here you can actually see two versions of it. The first one is more heuristic, second one is more stochastic, based on the deep learning. While the first one, at least in this case, looks much more ordered, I can tell you that the second one reached better performance. It has better prediction abilities like the ones we talked about. So I want to conclude with this question. Who is behind pricing actions on Amazon? When you look at the seasonality of orders generated across the days of week on Amazon, you can see clear seasonality, right? One day there's less, one day there's more. Each cluster here is a week in time. There's clear seasonality here. Same thing when you look at the seasonality within a day. Again, there are hours with more orders, hours with less orders, and this is due to the fact that, at least for now, humans are the main generators for orders on this marketplace and probably any other one, at least for now. When you look at the seasonality of price changes made on the marketplace, you don't see this. You see more or less the same number of price changes. Same thing when you're talking about the seasonality of the day. Again, no specific seasonality like we saw before, and of course we don't have the visibility to all price changes, and we don't know who makes them, but this very much strengthened the assumption that most price changes today on Amazon are made by machines and not made by humans, very much getting close to the world of algo trading, where it's much higher level of machine intervention and action. A little view to the future. When we analyze the number of price changes in the buy box over time, we saw a clear trend, increasing trend. We are seeing that the marketplace is becoming more and more dynamic, and more vendors or sellers have no choice but to apply these types of technologies, otherwise they're not going to get any sales and not going to succeed in this marketplace at least. Like many other companies, we're looking for good people, great people to help us expand and continue and build these technologies, data scientists, data engineers, and backend engineers. You're most welcome to come to our booth or visit our website for more information. Thank you very much.